Hi guys and welcome. Today I'm going to be trying on the brand new, this is the Dior Holiday. This is the iconic eye makeup couture case. This is the one with the 5 eyeshadows in it. The other one that has been released that has the quint, also a couple of highlight shades, blush shades and the satin lipsticks. I've already reviewed that one. So if you want to take a look at that video, it is in a playlist. I've got a couple of playlists. One for Dior makeup for 2024 and also holiday makeup as well. And also in today's video I'm going to be trying out a couple of Florasis products as well, their blush and also their powder. They've just released this really beautiful collection. It's called an Ode to Embroidery. It's really beautiful and they have sent me a lot of products and I'm not trying them all in this video, but I thought I would try out their blushes and just show you again their pressed powder. So as usual, I have done my skincare for the morning and about 10 or 15 minutes ago I reapplied my sunscreen. Now I'm not using my most favorite, and you've seen me use this before. This is the Canmake, this is the mermaid one, absolutely beautiful. But I did ask Florasis, they asked if there was anything else I wanted to try, and I noticed on their website that they had SPF. So they did send me the 2 different ones that they have, and the first one I thought, this comes in the most tiniest bottle, but I think this is just a tester, so they do have a bigger size on their website. So they sent me this one and also this one as well, and they both are quite different. Now I have used both of them and I can't decide which one I like better. I think both are really beautiful. This is the one that I've got on today. So probably out of the 2, this one here, I'll just give it a shake. You can hear it has that little ball inside to shake it up. This one here is more of a fluid than the other one. This goes in absolutely beautifully and leaves a really smooth canvas before you apply your primers. These SPFs also have skincare ingredients in them as well, but this is just absolutely beautiful. Now I'll just show you the other one. This comes with a pump. Now this one also is refillable as well. So you just buy the refill, put the pump back in, screw it back up, and then you have your spare. So this is the formula of the other one. So as you can see, it's not as runny, and it has, I don't know whether you'll be able to see that on camera. I'll just hold it up a little bit closer. But it has a slight tint to it as well. So people with perhaps deeper skin tone than what I have may find that it leaves a cast, but once you've rubbed it in, you can see that there is a cast there, but once you've rubbed it in, that cast does tend to go away. But as I was saying, if you have a deeper skin tone, you're probably better off with the other one. Now the finish of them, they both feel very similar. As I said, I've tried both of them out. Both are just absolutely beautiful. They wear well under primer. They wear well under a foundation as well. Now because this one has a little bit of a tint to it, once you've put it on, I think it almost just evens out the skin tone to some degree, but both are just absolutely beautiful. And just before I put on the primer for today, I'm going to use one of the Dior lip balms. I bought all 3 of these. I really like the formula. They're not too matte, they're not too glossy either, and I find them really hydrating and moisturizing as well. Now this one is the clear one, and the other 2 come in, I think there's more of a lavender one. That one just evens out the skin tone, but there is one that has a slight amount of pigment on it as well. So I'm just going to pop this on. These also have a fragrance, but I do think, I don't suffer from dry lips, but I think if you had dry lips, then these are a really good product to put on beforehand, before you're about to apply your makeup. So by the time that it comes to your lipstick, then your lips are really moisturized, ready for that next step, especially if you're going to wear a more matte type of lipstick. But I just love lip glosses and I love lip balms as well. And I love the formula of this, and I have this sitting on my table in front of me, and I often pop it on as the first step before putting on any of my other makeup. So for primer today, I'm going to wear the Dior Forever Glow Star Filter. I don't think I've used this in a video before, and I only purchased this probably about about 6 weeks ago, and I've tried it a few times and I think it is beautiful. Now I'm going to be wearing a Dior foundation today, and it is the matte one. It would be a soft matte type of finish, so I think this would go beautifully underneath. So I'm just going to put one pump on my hand. I have the shade 2, and just pop this on just where I would normally put on primer. So you can see once I've put it on that it does give your skin this really beautiful glow, but it's not too greasy or oily, because I did wonder how it would go since I have oily skin. I wasn't too sure how it would suit my oily skin, but it really gives a really beautiful, beautiful base. And I love wearing it. I've tried it under quite a few different foundations, but I particularly love wearing it since I have oily skin. I think it looks beautiful under a soft matte or matte type of foundation. So I've just been letting that primer sit for a couple of minutes. Now I'm going to go in with the Dior Forever foundation. There are 2 different types of formulas with this. One is more of a glow, and I do have both. I really love that one, and this one is more of a matte finish, but as I was saying, it is more of a soft matte. So I'm just going to put one pump on the back of my hand. It's the formula of it, and I have it in the shade 2.5N. Now today I'm going to be putting it on with a beauty blender, but I put this on using a brush as well, and either way of application I think it goes on really, really beautifully. And just like other Dior products, this also has a fragrance as well, but I think this gives a really gorgeous finish. It's very flattering on my mature skin. I think that Dior do really beautiful foundations, and I would say this has a medium finish. You can have it more sheer, of course, if you want to, and then you can build it up. So I would say it's buildable to a strong medium finish. So off camera, I've just put on some concealer, eyeshadow primer, done my eyebrows as well. Now I'm not going to put on any bronzer today. I may after the video has finished, but since I'm trying out blushes, it's easier to see for you guys what they look like without bronzer on. So I've still got to powder my face. So let's take a look at what Florasis sent me. This is the Peach Blossom Silk Powder. Now it's not peach colored in any way. This is a clear powder. I think they have more of a pinky one, and they do have a lavender one as well. So this is what it looks like, and this is this Ode to Embroidery Collection, and it is just absolutely beautiful. Now I have tried their powders before, and I would have to say I love it, one, that they are a pressed powder, and they are the silkiest powders I think that I have in my collection. They are just so finely milled, and they make your skin just silky, silky smooth. So here is the outside packaging. It's just so pretty. And inside comes with a little powder puff, and here is the powder itself. And it is silky, silky smooth. I don't know how else to describe it, but it is just super, super fine. These are beautiful, beautiful powders. So I'm going to take the BK Beauty, this is the 102, and just swirl it in there, and it just goes on so beautifully. And now when I touch my skin, it is just silky, silky smooth. It is absolutely beautiful. And I'm also going to put this on under my eyes as well, and it suits under my eyes because it is just so silky and really finely milled. These are just absolutely beautiful, and these are supposed to mattify, so they smooth and mattify as well. But when I say they mattify, they're not too drying at all, but they just help with oil control throughout the day. So that is the side, all powdered, and this is just with a light dusting, and that's not powdered yet. So the finish that it gives is just beautiful. I'm also going to put this under my eyes as well. So just pick up a little bit with my finger and just tap that under my eyes. Really good powders for under your eyes. Those of you that have seen my other videos know that I'm pretty fussy when it comes to powders under my eyes, because I don't want ones that are too drying. They start to emphasize my wrinkles when they dry out too much. For the rest of my face with my oily skin, that's fine, but for the concealer under my eyes, I just want it set, but I still want them to be hydrated as well. So now I'm just going to put some on the other side. It feels beautiful going on. I don't know whether, I think it might have a fragrance. If it has, it's really subtle, and I certainly can't smell it once I'm putting it on my face. And I just think that just gives the most beautiful finish to my skin. Doesn't look dried down at all, and it just feels, and I know I keep saying it, but it does feel silky smooth. I can really recommend these powders. They are just absolutely beautiful. So now let's take a look at this new Dior Holiday eyeshadow. Here is the packaging, which I think is really beautiful. It is a lot smaller than the other one that I reviewed. That's one with the quint, highlight blush, and the lipsticks as well, because this one just has the 5 eyeshadows in it. What I have noticed, and I'm not sure about last year's because I didn't buy that one, but the other ones that I've got, they do have a bar across here, but you can't pull it down. Whereas this one, you actually pull it down to open up the eyeshadow palette itself. But the packaging is just gorgeous. So here is a close-up of this really beautiful packaging. And as I was saying, it has that little bar up top that you pull down. And then inside you do have a mirror, and here are the shadows. They are just beautiful. Now by the looks of it, I think the majority of them are satin finishes. There may be one matte, I'm not too sure. I'll find out once I swatch them. So here is the palette from 2022, and this is the eyeshadow palette from 2021. And the eyeshadow palette from 2022, that had that velvet finish on it, but this bar across here you can't pull down. And here is the packaging from the one from 2021. It had that beautiful engraving on it, but again, the bar is just on there, but you can't pull that one down either. So I'll start with swatches from this year's palette. So first of all, you've got a really beautiful bronze, that is a satin. Next you've got a taupe, and that's a satin as well. And then next you've got, it is a gold shade, but it's not a yellow gold. It's really pretty. And the last 2 shades you've got, this is a rosy brick, that's a shimmer. And last of all, you've got a deep violet color. This is absolutely beautiful. And this one here, this is a matte shade. So I've swatched the other 2 palettes on my arm. This one here is the one that was in the velvet casing. This is from 2022. And this one under here, this is from 2021. And I am really rubbing at these eyeshadows, and they don't seem to want to come off, so I'm going to have to use eye makeup remover later. So what I'm going to do today, instead of using my normal brushes, I'm going to use the brush that came with this palette and see how it goes. First of all, I'm going to start with this really beautiful taupe shade, and I'm going to use the mirror from this palette. The brush in this palette that is used for the blending, it actually feels really soft. So I'm really intrigued to see, just to see how it goes. It's always strange using a brush that you're not used to. So I'm not too sure how much to pick up at first with it, but no doubt I'll get the hang of it. So I don't know whether, it's not as soft, I would have to say, as the brushes that I normally use, but it's not too bad. And because it sort of splays out quite a bit, you get a little bit of mess going around just towards the outer corner. But I have to say, it's not doing too bad a job at applying the eyeshadow. If you are out and about, or you were traveling and you took it with you, and you forgot by some chance to take your brushes with you, then this would definitely be okay in place of that. So with that brush, they are blending out really lovely. It's just that I've got a little bit of mess just on the outer corner there, but that's not really a big deal. I can always just clean that up later. And then next I'm going to go into this deep violet shade, and I'm going to put this in the outer corner. Still going to stay with this brush. It does a pretty decent job. Once you get used to it, it actually applies the eyeshadow really well. But of course that's because the formula of these are beautiful. When I swatched them, they were just really silky smooth. So I'm just going to pop on a little bit more, and I'm just going to take that up onto my brow bone as well. Then I've just wiped down this brush, and I'm just going to go back into that taupe shade, the first one that I used. It's going to pick up a very small amount, and I'm just going to put that over the rest of my lid as well. So just pop a little bit on just through here, just to where that violet shade is. Next I'm going to go into this rosy brick shade. Sometimes these type of shades can be a little bit scary, but what I'm going to do with it is I'm just going to place it just in the center of the lid. Then I'm just going to turn this brush around, use the sponge applicator tip, and now I'm going to go into this gold shade, and I'm going to put that through here, and I'm also going to put it in the inner corner as well. And then lastly, for my lower lash line, I'm going to go into this really beautiful bronze shade. I'm going to use the sponge applicator tip and going to put that on my lower lash line. I wouldn't be able to do it with the brush because the brush is just a little bit too wide, whereas with this sponge applicator tip I've just got more control. And then I've just swiped down the brush end. I'll give it another wipe on my cloth, and I'm just going to go over and just soften all the edges. Then I'm just taking my beauty blender and just tidying up the edges a little bit, just because I'm not used to that brush, and I just went just a little bit over. But I have to say that that brush, it did a really good job at applying the shadows. But of course, as I was saying, the formula of the shadows is really beautiful.
I still remember the feeling. I wanna dance till I can't no more.
So I just used the smallest amount of eyeliner and also a little bit of mascara. And here is the finished look. And I think it is really beautiful. Wasn't too sure about that rose red shade at first, because it can tend to make your eyes a little bit sore if you're not careful, but I think in the center of the lid it looks really pretty and just goes really beautiful with that deep violet. So now let's take a look at the blushes. So Florasis, they kindly sent me 3 different shades, and I haven't tried their blushes before, so I have no idea what they're like. They sent me the shades in Coral Whisper, Apricot Milk, and also Candy Clouds. And again, you've got this really beautiful packaging. Now these have a shelf life of 12 months from date of opening, and they have 2.8 grams of product. So you've got that really beautiful silk embroidery on the front, and this is the shade, this is the one Coral Whisper. Then we've got Candy Clouds, and finally we've got the shade, this one is Apricot Milk. So these go on very sheer. So this one's Coral Whisper, then we've got Candy Clouds, and then finally we've got Apricot Milk. And with the one Candy Clouds, it is a really beautiful shade. It's a very light, it's like a candy cotton pink type of shade. It looks almost like there's a little bit of lavender in there as well. Now I think anyone, I don't even know whether it will show that well on my skin tone, and anyone with deeper skin tone than mine, I think that one would probably show up fairly ashy. So today I'm going to use the one Coral Whisper, and it is so finely milled. Don't know whether you can see with my brush in there, there is a lot of kick up, and you often get that with really finely milled powders. And it does show quite a bit of pigment on the brush, a little bit more than on my hand. Okay, so that has a decent amount of pigment. It's more than I thought it was going to be. And these feel silky smooth, just like the powder that I used. So they blend out really beautifully. And when you feel them, they have that same silky, finely milled texture, just like the powder. So they go on really beautifully, and that is a really gorgeous shade. Now they call it Coral Whisper, but it's definitely more, it's more of a pink. It's got a little bit of warmth in it as well. And I don't know how well that will show on camera, but it is definitely the first amount that I put on, enough for my everyday makeup, but I'm just going to build it up a little bit so you can see as well. But just like with their powder, this would have to be one of the most finely milled powder blushes that I've ever tried, and I think that shade is really pretty. Now they also sent me a highlighter as well, and this is called Lilac Haze, so we'll take a look at it. So again, you've got that really beautiful packaging. This has 4 grams of product, and this also has a shelf life of 12 months from date of opening. Here is the shade Lilac Haze. And here it is swatched. There's absolutely no glitter in here, but it does give a really beautiful glow, and again it just feels super smooth going on. I think this is going to look really pretty. So I'm going to take the Rapha number 18 brush. We'll try it with this brush first, but I think this could apply really beautifully using your fingers as well. Now it's going to give a glow, but it's not going to look chunky in any way. It's more of a subtle glow. And boy, that is really smooth going on, and I thought it would be because it just felt really smooth when I swatched it. I've just gone in again just to build it up a little bit, but that is a beautiful highlight, really subtle, doesn't emphasize the texture. It's really gorgeous. So now I'm going to go over the other side using my finger and just see if there's any difference. Smooth going on. Such a beautiful, beautiful formula, and it just gives the most gorgeous, gorgeous glow. So I do think you get a little bit more payoff using your finger, but either way, I think it just looks beautiful. And finally, I'm just going to use one of the Dior Addict lipsticks, and this is in the shade that's new to me, and I tried it out in a previous video, but this is a gorgeous shade, and this is the shade Vibe. So here is the finished look. I'm not going to be putting my hair down. It's far too warm to have it down today. I'm going to wear it like this for the rest of the day. Now this Florasis, this powder is beautiful. I love this new collection that they've got. I think the design of it is really feminine and just super pretty. This Ode to Embroidery, just absolutely gorgeous. And this powder is beautiful. And I know I mentioned it a few times, but it is just so silky smooth. It's just absolutely beautiful, and it works really well with my oily skin. And even though it keeps my skin from producing too much oil throughout the day, because it has other hydrating ingredients in it, I don't think it would be too drying for those with normal to dry skin either. This new Dior Holiday palette is really beautiful. I love it with the extra that they've got the bar now that you can pull down. As I said, I'm not too sure whether they had that last year or not because I didn't pick up last year's, but I do think that the color story of this is really beautiful. I love this deep violet shade. It is absolutely gorgeous. I was a little bit scared at first of this rosy red shade, but I think it works really well in the center of the eyelid. This taupe shade is stunning. Absolutely love it. And I love this gold shade too, and I love it that it's also not too yellow. And this bronze shade as well, I think it worked really well on my lower lash line, and that little brush that came with it, I think it did a really good job. It took me a minute or two to get used to it because it's so different to the other brushes that I use, but at a pinch, like I said, if you are out and about, took this with you traveling, and you only have that brush, then it really does a great job. The brush does a good job at blending, and then of course you've got got that sponge applicator tip as well, and that's always great for putting shadow in the inner corner, and it also did a great job at putting that bronze shade on the lower lash line as well. And I really like these blushes. Now the other two shades that I swatched on my hand, that was that really light pink and also the milky apricot one, they are quite sheer, and I do think the pink one could be a little bit ashy on deeper skin tones, but this actually gave more pigment than I thought it would do on my cheeks, and the formula is just absolutely beautiful. Again, as I rub it between my fingers, it just feels absolutely silky smooth, really beautiful. And of course, again, that really gorgeous packaging. I think these are really pretty, and I'm going to try out the Candy Glow one, that light pink, and also the milky apricot one. I don't know whether I'll do another video, but definitely try them out for my everyday makeup, and if I remember, I'll update you guys and let you know how they wore and also what the pigment was like on them as well. Now the highlight shade is just stunning. That lilac is beautiful. Once again, super smooth formula, not chunky or glittery in any way, but just gives this really beautiful glow. I thought it applied beautifully with the brush and also using my fingers as well. And of course, the Dior Addict lipstick, it's new to me. I only purchased it a little while ago. I think this is the second time I've tried it in a video, the shade Vibe, and I just think it's really pretty. And before I forget, also the sunscreens, absolutely beautiful. Both of them go beautifully under makeup, they go well under primer, they're beautiful on their own, and they have that really smooth texture about them as well. Of course, there's that one with that little bit of a tint in it, so it really depends what type of sunscreen you prefer, but both are just beautiful and wear beautifully as well, and both are also SPF 50. So that's it for today's video. I would love it if you gave it a like and subscribed, and I will see you next time. Bye.